reads, "For I know that nothing good dwells in me, that is, in my flesh. For the wishing is present in me, but the doing of good is not. For the good that I wish, I do not do, but I practice the very evil that I do not wish. But if I am doing the very thing I do not wish, I am no longer the one doing it, but sin which dwells in me. I find then the principle that evil is present in me, the one who wishes to do good. For I joyfully concur with the law of God in the inner man, but I see a different law in the members of my body, waging war against the law of my mind, and making me a prisoner of the law of sin which is in my members. Wretched man that I am, who will set me free from the body of this death? Thanks be to God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then, on the one hand, I myself with my mind am serving the law of God, but on the other, with my flesh, the law of sin." True Bible, our message for this morning is reconciled wretches. Amen. Reconciled wretches. You may be seated. It is with confidence that I speak this morning on something I know that every last one of us goes through in our walk as believers in Jesus Christ. I know we struggle with sin. I know that most of you, are pretty much everybody that I could see this morning, has confessed salvation in Jesus Christ, giving you power above and beyond sin. But yet I am in confidence saying that I know you still struggle with sin on some level as a believer in Jesus Christ. Right. Sometimes we have multiple personality disorders. Sometimes we walk and talk like we are heirs of the kingdom of heaven. And sometimes we walk and talk like the devil is our daddy. We have this inward spiritual battle going on inside our souls that have us looking wishy-washy from time to time. All right. And you don't have to even give me that look as if you're not battling it. Because if Paul battled it, and Paul was foremost an apostle of Jesus Christ, one of the hard-hitting, heaviest fighters for Jesus in his ministry, if he dealt with it, I know we struggle with it too. So unless your ministry surpasses that of Paul's, I know you got this inward civil war going on in your body. God has a way of reconciling the wretchedness within us. But in order for him to do it, we have to understand exactly what that process is. If we look at the text this morning, this is Paul talking to the Roman church. And if you've read the book of Romans, you realize that this was a church that was very much deeply rooted in debauchery. This was the church somewhere around Romans chapter 1 that had issues with homosexuality. And they chalked it up to, Paul did, that the reason they struggle with homosexuality, women going after women and men going after men, is because of their lack of faith in God. And in order for you not to subscribe to those demonic, immoral tenets, you have to acknowledge Jesus Christ. And if you don't acknowledge Jesus Christ, then God turns you over to all kinds of sickly thinking in your mind, and he turns you over physically to sickly acts within your body. I don't know about you, but if you look at the TV, you see that we've gotten a sixth state that has condoned the marriage of same-sex partners. Just a sign of the times. I know some of you are discouraged to see that, but I'm encouraged to see it. You're scratching your head like, how in the heck can he be encouraged to see it? I'm encouraged to see it because God said that these things are going to happen. So when I see something that God says is going to happen, I know that God's will is being done. I know that prophecy is fulfilling itself. I know that I am on the right track with regards to my faith in a God who says it and it's happening, in a God who is true. So I don't have to believe in nothing else. That's my confirmation that I serve a God that is all powerful. When he says something is going to happen and I look up, there it is. If it wasn't happening, then I'd be wondering if the Bible is true. But because they're marrying each other in New York City, because they're doing it in these other states that allowed it, I know the word of God is more powerful now than as it was any other time in the past. If we look at the text this morning, with regards to your personal struggle, you need to know that there's nothing good in your flesh. You think that you are all that in a bag of chips, but truthfully speaking, if you told the truth to yourself, you'd come to the same conclusion as Paul, that there is nothing good inside of me. And that me for you is you. If you look at the text, he says, I know this isn't a doubt. He didn't say, I think. He didn't say, I ponder. He didn't say, I wonder. He's giving a confirmation and emphatic acknowledgement that I know that nothing good dwells in me. And just in case you may misunderstand this to think that there's no good at all whatsoever within you as a person, because there's none in Paul, he clarifies the statement. He says, that is in my flesh. So if you are living according to the flesh, then there is no good inside of you. If you're living according to what you see, if all you can do is desire the sights that you see every day, if all you can do is desire the money, if all you can desire is the sounds, if all you can desire is the feelings, then there is no good inside of you. Because you're living in a physical state. And ain't nothing physical about God. God is spirit, and we must serve him in spirit and in truth. He's saying, I know that nothing good dwells in me, that is in my flesh. Then he comes with this crisis of conscience you see here in the text. He says, for the wishing is present in me. The wishing of what? The wishing to do good. Each one of us wants to do good. You ever find yourself just, you know right from wrong. You know it's wrong to do this. You know it's right to do that. You know it's wrong to kill, steal, and destroy. You know it's wrong to lie. You know it's wrong to cheat. But you ever find yourself knowing something is wrong to do and you're still doing it anyway? If you haven't, then you better than Paul. He's saying that is in my flesh, for the wishing is present in me, the wishing to do right, but the doing of good is not. The wishing, I desire to do good, but I just don't do it. Now this is Paul talking. I don't want you to get confused as to who we're dealing with. We're dealing with somebody that was struck down by God on the road to Damascus. Somebody who was talked to directly by Jesus Christ. He's saying that the wishing is there, but the physical carrying out of doing good, sometimes it just belies me. I can't make what I'm thinking come out physically in my actions. Even though I know right from wrong. You ever been there? Are you there right now? Yes. You ain't alone. You ain't alone. Because just like for Paul, there was no good in the flesh. There's no good in the flesh for you. See, that's because we have become sin puppets. Think about sin controlling you. Think about sin standing at the top as the puppet master. And sin say go left, you go left. Sin say smoke it, you smoke it. Sin say drink it, you drink it. Sin say take it, you take it. Sin say do this with it, you do this with it. Sin say eat it, you eat it. Sin say think it, you think it. Sin say do whatever, and there you go, break dancing for sin. We have become sin puppets, and sin is our puppet master. And Paul is saying, if you don't recognize this, then you're probably hanging on the strings of sin right now.
All right now.
Look at it. He says, for the good that I wish I do not do, but I practice the very evil that I do not wish. He says he practices it. That means he actually puts it into play. He goes out and he does the things that he don't want to do. He indulges in activities that he don't want to indulge in. He thinks the thoughts that he's not supposed to think, even though he don't want to do it.
My Lord. Come on, tell the truth.
In other words, he's acknowledging the fact that he is out of control. Or better yet, he's acknowledging the fact that he cannot control this on his own. And let me tell you, True Bible, one of the most important things you need to know in your rage against sin is that you must understand that you cannot control yourself.
That's right. All right. Okay.
See, that shoots the mind over matter right in the butt.
All right.
That shoots up, if you think it, you can achieve it. If you just trust in what your abilities are, if you just believe it and practice it every day, it's going to be all right. See, that's mind over matter. That's prosperity preaching. That's trying to teach you that just because of the power that you have in and of yourself, you can get things done. And I'm going to tell you right now, anybody that preaches that to you, whether it's a pastor on TV, whether it's your boss, whether it's the self-help tapes that your job got you listening to, whether it's you and yourself and you, it's the devil talking to you.
All right.
You can't fix nothing.
All right.
Why? Because you didn't break it.
All right.
You just under the brokenness.
Yeah.
You want to know who broke it? Adam broke it. The first Adam broke it when he succumbed to sin by doing what the devil said. So if you didn't break it and Adam broke it, you can't fix it.
Amen.
Somebody else got to fix it.
Amen.
Look at the text. See, I know some of you struggling. You're scratching your heads right now. It says, but the good that I wish I do not do, but I practice the very evil that I do not wish. We're being controlled. It says, but if I am doing the very thing I do not wish, I am no longer the one doing it, but sin which dwells in me. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You would believe in Jesus Christ? I know Paul was. And you're telling me that as believers in Jesus Christ, sin dwells in you?
Yeah.
Sin dwells in. So wait a minute. I know Jesus died for my sins. But sin still dwells in me. Of course it does. Because you are still living in a physical fleshly body. So don't think you're perfect. Don't think you got it going on better than anybody else. Don't think you're above falling. Don't think your house is above the devil stopping by and paying you a visit. And just like the Beverly Hillbillies, he takes his shoes off, he sets the spell. And you thought because you got a new job that everything is going to be okay. You thought because you pray every night that God is not going to test you in your situation. You thought just because everything was going well for a minute, for 6 months or a year, that you ain't going to have no more challenges in life. And down the devil is. He done came by. He done sat down. He done took his shoes off. And now he's setting the spell with you. He's telling you, he's saying, I am no longer, verse 20, the one doing it, but sin which dwells in me. So yes, as a believer in Jesus Christ, sin can still dwell in me. But Paul has a fix for that dwelling sin. Say dwelling sin. Paul has a fix for that dwelling sin. Anybody dealing with some dwelling sin this morning? Or are you holier than thou? Paul has a fix for that dwelling sin. He says in the text, he says, I am no longer the one doing it, but that old sin which dwells in me, that old puppet master called sin is pulling the strings of my life, and I can't do what I want to do. I'm in no control of my own desires, because sin, the lust of the flesh, the lust in my mind, the lust within my heart, even though I've come to Christ and to believe in Jesus Christ, my spirit is still locked in the flesh. I'm battling war. And this is worse than Afghanistan. This is worse than Iraq. This is worse than anything going on anywhere in the world right now, because unlike those wars, which man is fighting man, when you're fighting against spirits of the power of the air, when you fight against principalities, you are in trouble if you're trying to use physical means to battle a spiritual foe.